from the Travel Podcast with me, and I want to ask her our icebreaker question. And that is, if you could mandate something for mental health, what would it be?
It would be travel with intention.
Yes, I love traveling. Traveling's the best for mental health. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about here today. So I want you to go ahead and tell us a little bit about your background and kind of explain what a travel coach is, because this is something that might be a newer concept to some people listening, to all the listeners listening. And honestly, it sounds just as amazing as it is. So I'm going to go ahead and let you take the floor.
Travel coaching, I define travel coaching like a life coach that uses travel as a catalyst for transformation. So, as a travel coach, what I do is, when you go to a life coach, it helps you to go to the place you are, to the place you want to be. I'm doing the same, but I use travel to expand the results and accelerate the results.
Now, how did you get into this? What brought you to it?
Well, actually, it was my own experience. I was my first client. I always say I was my first client because my background is in corporate, IT corporate. I was working in the corporate world all my life, nearly 20 years. I started very young and I was promoting and growing. I even moved countries. I'm originally from Spain, but I live in Ireland right now for the last 5 years. So I didn't see anything else, right? So this is what my parents, especially my father, recommend me and advise me, go to school, good grades, good job, and then go as higher as you can. So this is what I was doing,
Right.
trying to go up in the corporate ladder for many years until it was a moment that I didn't want to go to the next. So I was thinking rationally was the next, normal step to go to the next promotion. But this time was different. I knew I didn't want to do it and I didn't know what to do. So that's when I decided to travel. So I spent this year traveling. I was working as well, but I was prioritizing travel in my life. And this is when I discovered the power of transformational travel. It worked in me, and that's why now I'm helping others to do the same.
So, when we're talking about you being a travel coach, how does this work? Because when you hear coach, you think the coach is, session upon session. You're thinking like kind of like a basketball practice or a soccer practice type of coaching. When you're working with your clients and they're going out traveling, are you going with them to talk them through things? Are you giving them objectives while they're traveling to kind of like look within? How does the travel coaching side work?
Yeah, so that's an interesting question. I don't travel with them. I wish I could travel with everybody. I just
That would be
help
awesome.
them to prepare before the trip. That could be amazing. Prepare before the trip, and then, especially, also giving them tools to make the most of their travel experience while they are traveling. But I think the most important part is when they are back from the trip to implement to their lives, because most of the people are just using travel as a temporary relief or temporary, escape, but then they go back to status quo. And this is what I'm helping them, using this power of travel for transform, for growth, for moving forward, so that they are not go back to the place they were before.
Right. Right. And how do you what methods do you use to get them to actually allow that change to stick? Because it's just so easy to come back into your same routine and just get into that same rut all over again.
Yeah. So the sessions are one-to-one sessions. I do them remotely. So can be from any part of the world, are Zoom sessions online, and we work through intentions, vision, what they want from this trip, why they travel, right? And then intention obstacles, right? What's stopping them
Yeah.
to achieve that, what they want, and the action, what's the plan of action? So when they are back, especially because travel gives you this awareness that you don't have in the place you are, surrounded by, the routine. So when you travel, you have this contrast that gives you clarity. It's like you stepping away from your life and you see life from the outside. So when you are inside, you cannot see what's going on. So you step away, you have this clarity, this self-awareness, right? I make them journal
Yeah.
everything. And then when they are back, we put together a plan of action.
So let me go back to you saying you were your first client. What were the things that you recognized while you were traveling? Because I know that you didn't just travel to one place; you kind of traveled around. Or what were you realizing as you went place to place?
Yeah. So the thing is, I was in that place. I told you that I didn't know what to do with my career, with my life,
Yeah.
and all my life for 20 years was walking in this direction. That suddenly I realized that was the wrong direction, right? So I felt lost. I didn't know what to do. So I said, look, what are my passions? What I'm really passionate about, and was travel. And I realized I didn't invested in my life enough on what's my actually passion because I was too busy working. So I just travel for pleasure. I joined a travel club. I just meet lots of people around the world. I start visiting that year. I visited in 12 months. I did 15 trips to 11 countries
Wow,
while
that's a
working full time. So that was a mindset shift. I didn't know that was possible. So that in itself already was powerful. But what happened as a result of that is what actually shifted in me inside. Because was not always, I felt for the first time I was living life. I was enjoying, I was feeling myself, I was feeling free. And a result of that, I also met with who is now today my husband,
that's
that
incredible.
I was single before, struggling in love. I met my husband, and I quit the corporate career, and I started my passion, my life purpose. I call travel coaching. So I was my first client. I felt this transformation in me, and I knew, but I didn't know why, how all this happened. And it's afterwards, looking backward, connecting the dots, that I discovered travel coaching. I did I researched, all the scientific evidences about why and how travel is so powerful and how can be used, not, as I said before, not just temporary, but can be used
Yeah.
as a personal growth, actually to move forward in your life or career or whatever your situation you are right now.
So, how have you seen with your own clients, I guess, if they're on the edge? Like, I know there's a lot of people that wanna make that change, especially when it comes to getting out of the corporate world, but, you're comfortable, you've got the benefits, you've got the solid job, you've got your boss, and your boss is probably not gonna let you leave that easy, especially if you're a good person. How do you help them when they come to you? Kinda just release that hold that they have on this, like, comfortable life to help them travel, or do they come to you when they're ready?
Yeah. No, it's actually, yeah, very unique of every person. But I feel that everybody inside
Yeah,
has an adventurer.
yeah,
The problem is the fear that stops you, right? So when you put it in a scale, what's bigger? Is the fear bigger, or is the excitement, adventure, the vision?
yeah.
What's bigger? Because if you are not ready, I cannot help. So I can do all my best, but you also have to be committed, and you have to get out of your comfort zone. This is also one thing that travel provides. So if you're not ready for that, it's difficult to achieve results. So usually they are ready, they know they
Yep.
want that, just they don't know how. So with the help of travel and life coaching, both together is where you have these, results that are exponential, multiplied.
No, I definitely agree. Traveling helps you get out of your comfort zone. And I think that's something sharing with you that I experienced over the past year. I've been traveling. I mean, somebody texted me the other day. They're like, when I think of you, I think, where in the world is Sierra Carter today? And I was like, have I
Yeah.
gone that much? But I guess I am because I've gone somewhere every month for the past like 18 months, which I'm super thankful for. But, beforehand, I was such a routine person where everything had to be perfect. It had to be, set in stone. But like traveling, like actually helped me realize there's more to the world than a set schedule, than the 9 to 5 job. You should be out there exploring. And it really is a powerful tool. Now, I want to ask you, how do you help your clients, I guess, pick where they want to go? Do you give them where they should go? Or how does that work? Is it like a top 10 bucket list? What's the most affordable? How do they choose where they want to go to find themselves?
Yeah, so this is, as you said very, very well, is travel for self-discovery. So it's not a
Oh,
holiday, right? So they want
right.
something out of it. And this is the difference. Sometimes people ask me, what's the difference between a travel coach and a travel agent? So you go to a travel agent when the final goal is the trip, and you go to a travel coach when actually the final goal is the change, the transformation, and the
Oh,
travel, the trip is the vehicle, the means to arrive there. So yeah, so I choose them. I help them to choose the destination. So most of the times they already know where they want to go, but it's something that I don't tell them. I don't want to be like an advisor or tell them
right.
this would be disempowering. I think so. It's something that the person I explore with them, and based on their goals, based on where they are, based on where they want to be or what they want out of this trip. Right? I can recommend destinations, but most of the times they already have this gut feeling that they always wanted to go this place, and I trust this intuition if they tell me that, because as I said before, your passions are not random. So if you are feeling pulled to a place or culture, or
Yeah.
can be music, food, whatever it is that for some reason you feel attractive, there is something there for you. So I recommend to follow this gut feeling.
So let me ask you this too. Okay, so you're much different than obviously a travel advisor or a travel agent. What do you help them plan what they do there, or are they still the ones, laying out, planning it out? And I'm sure it's not like planned to a T because you don't want to be in that for self-discovery, but obviously you kind of have to go there with a goal in mind. For example, like I just got back from Egypt, like I wanted to see the pyramids. Now, was that planned out? I mean, it wasn't planned out, but like that was the goal: see the pyramids and ride a camel in front of the pyramids. How does that work for most people that are traveling?
Yeah, so it's good that they have this balance, because we are too used to, in the daily life at work, in our society, to just do and don't enjoy
Right.
this resting and enjoying the moment and being present. But what I recommend as well is, even this time off during your trip, put it in the diary. So
Oh,
plan also for the unplanning. Plan for the moment that you want to just get, lose yourself in the city center or whatever. So put everything there, because the more you plan, the more you will be able to relax once you are there. Yeah,
yeah.
so you will not have this feeling I'm wasting my time, or because it's already in the plan, it's part of the plan. So I answering your questions, yes, I help them to plan where they go, what they are gonna do once they are there, and the key is to keep this balance between doing and being present, ticking boxes. Yes, if you want, but I would not recommend more than one or two per day, and then the rest of the day, chat with local people, do other activities by yourself, go for a walk in the nature, connect with what the place has to offer.
Right.
But also put it in the diary. So this afternoon I was just gonna do, exploring, or going join like activity in groups, so you can also meet people, etc.
And let me ask you another question. How long are these trips usually lasting for people? Is it like 2 to 3 days, like a long weekend, or is it like a significant amount of time?
Yeah. So I have different programs to cover all needs, right? So it can be like a long weekend, as you said. So this
Yeah.
is the short, meaningful retreat. I call it is 3 days. And then it can be like 2, 3 weeks, which are more of the trips that are actually, going deep. And some people just want to take a year off. Or, they have like,
Um,
I had a client who wanted to check all the countries in the world before he was turning 30.
oh my
So it was
gosh.
like a big ambitious goal. So this can be up to the person, from the shortest period of time that you have. Of course, the breakthrough, the transformation will be different, for depends on the period. If you maybe sometimes the change is that you are seeking is not that big. Sometimes it's just changing this small thing that will change
Yeah.
everything afterwards. And sometimes it's just actually some deep profound work that you want to do.
And I wanted to ask you because you said there's a lot of science behind traveling, for, changing your life, for your mental health. What what is that science? What are the studies exactly saying to, kind of push people and edge them out there? Because there's a lot of people that are like, I'm research based, I'm study based, right? And I always like to pull them out and be like, okay, well, you know what, you should go use traveling as your mental health. What are those studies saying?
Yeah. Yeah, actually, there is a quite recent study that is saying literally that travel, foreign travel, to be more international travel, because the more contrast you have, more out of your comfort zone, bigger the transformation. So this is
Big time.
important. That it helps you to this have more awareness of yourself. It's called self-concept clarity. So, in plain words, it helps you to identify who you really are versus who you were taught to be. And this is something that we learn, the roles. And one of
Wow.
the powerful things that has travel that I don't know anything else that has is the combination, the unique combination of it puts you out of your comfort zone, as we said before, and it frees you from expectations. So these two combined, right, are powerful. So this is what the study says actually. So is the roles, the masks sometimes we wear because we learn as very young age that we need to behave certain way if we have a role, if we are also in family, if you are a mom or a daughter, if you want to be a good neighbor in society, how you need to behave.
Right.
If you are, you have a management role, position as a boss, how you need to look, So all this is very established by society, and you are kind of conditioned to be this way, to dress this way, to behave this way, to talk
Right.
this way. So when you travel, you are free from that, and you can find yourself, your authentic self.
No, it's so true, especially when you're in a different country that, most likely, I mean, depending on where you are, but like most likely most countries are not the same. The people are not the same and a lot of the cultures are drastically different. And I think that's like the most powerful thing about traveling is you immerse yourself in there and you respect it. You don't go to these other countries expecting that they're going to change for you. Like I mean, like some people it seems like they do because the world revolves around them, but like most people that are traveling, they're there to learn other people's culture. And I wanted to ask you, because you said you went to 15 countries in 11 months, right? I got that number.
11 countries in 12 months.
11
15
countries in
cities.
12 months.
Yeah.
What was your favorite experience that you had, and what country was it in that really just blew your mind, that kind of like made you wake up thinking, wow, this is different?
Yeah. So in that year was 2019 that I did all these trips.
You
So
got it
if I
right
had
under
to
the
choose
wire
before, if
for
I
the
knew, it's
pandemic.
like if I knew that in 2020 it was not possible, right? So I was, yeah, ticking all the boxes. So that year, if I have to pick one, which is difficult, but if I have to pick one, I always remember Dubai. And it's because the idea also I had before, also the expectations, right, that we have in our heads of the idea of places for what we've been told or we read or we watch on TV, on the news or whatever. You have an idea in your mind, and then when you go there, sometimes either you feel disappointed or that you
Yeah.
see, oh my God, I was so wrong with that. Or in this case, it was a great surprise. So it has lots to offer, and being in the tallest building in the world looking down is super impressive. Also having the desert experience, with driving cars, and suddenly I saw myself there in having a lovely meal in the at night time with the full moon in the desert, and seeing belly dancing, and it's like, oh my God, that's so beautiful, and people are so kind and respectful. Yeah, it was lovely.
And how many, I guess, like, do you still have friends in all of these countries that you visited? Did you meet people or did you kind of keep to yourself? What would you recommend even for your clients?
Yeah, so I was meeting lots of people where I was saying before I joined a travel club, right? So this was people that were already traveling there. Some people travel alone, some people with a couple, or even with family. So it's even
Right.
easier to meet people. So I totally recommend travel clubs or travel activities where you can meet other people. It's easier. Some people prefer to, travel alone and are more introvert, or they prefer to sporadic or going to hostels and meeting people there. So it's
Right.
very personal, but I really enjoyed that experience, and I still have friends and connections nowadays. And yeah, it helps you, change the lenses you see the world, and also change the lenses you see yourself. So you see
Right.
yourself through the eyes of other people, and this helps you to change the self concept, the identity that you how you see yourself.
Right. And I know that you said you've changed your career since you went traveling. And obviously, you found your husband, you're married, you're a whole different person now after traveling. But how would you describe yourself prior to traveling versus how would you describe yourself now?
Yeah. So the thing is, because I didn't know what I didn't know in that
Right.
point, I
Yeah.
was not aware, right? So that's why travel brings you this awareness, because I didn't have anything else to compare or to contrast. So I thought this was life. So if you ask me by then, I would say, yeah, I'm fine. I'm just doing well. I'm just working, being successful at work. I was not unhappy at work. The problem is I was not feeling, I was feeling like something was wrong with me. I
Right.
was trying to fit in some society expectations, other people expectations, the roles, especially when you go incorporate higher roles, you have to, there is lots of stress, there is lots of things that you need to deal with. And I was thinking, because being myself very sensitive, and I'm very empathetic person, I was feeling something was wrong with me actually. And that was not what happened. Is I was not in the right place. I was trying to put myself in a place that was not natural in me. I was not meant to do that, right?
Right.
So now I'm a person who I feel more aligned, who I really respect who I am. I don't think I is anything wrong with me. It's just some things are for me, some things are not for me. Same thing with people. So when I had in the past partners and didn't work out, I thought it was me, something wrong with me, or something wrong with the other
Yeah.
person. And there
Right.
is nothing like that. It's just we were not a match. We were not, but somehow I was trying to, meet this person, and now I want to make it work. And this is not how it
Right.
works. It's just you are you, and then you meet another person. If it's a good match, great. If not, it's not, right? So when you are more aligned with yourself, more confident about who you are and what you want, then it's easier to see where you fit and where you are not fitting.
No, absolutely, and it's kind of that same saying where people try so hard to fit puzzle pieces together that just don't go together. It's like you have to think of everything in life as a puzzle piece. If it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit. You can't cut it, you can't force it. It's not going to fit the overall picture, and might mean that you have to keep trying different other methods, different other things. Maybe keep traveling to different countries until you really do find that puzzle piece fit. Now I have to ask you now. You're traveling. I mean, okay, granted, we've been in the pandemic. It's been a little bit more difficult to travel, especially internationally. Here in the States, it's been kind of like whatever, you can travel in the States just fine. But at the same time, trying to get in or out of the country is a nightmare. How has traveling or how has the pandemic affected you maybe as a travel coach? Have you still been able to find means to help people travel? What has that looked like over the past, I guess, 2 years now?
Yeah, no, that was absolutely, changing, and
Mhm.
I think the people who were traveling before and people who will want to travel after, just the purpose and the intention will be different, which is also
Yeah.
something we needed, more slow travel and meaningful travel, and not just travel to just, over touristic um, kind of checking tick
Yeah.
boxes. So that's the good part of the pandemic. But yes, so we had to adapt and maybe find other ways, more local, national ways to travel. In Europe, we could. I mean, in 2020, I've been traveling to Spain with my family. I had my honeymoon as well to Greece. So I did. I was this last year. I was in Croatia. So I did something, right? And my clients are doing within Europe. Maybe when you are in the States, within the
Right.
States, or even within the country. But absolutely, the restrictions were a problem. So the coaching
Yeah.
always is been working, even more demand now, but the traveling is been changing. And the way we
Right.
were going to travel now is going to be different as well.
And what kind of tips can you give the people that are trying to just travel within the country? Like, let's say, I mean, I feel like the States is not a really good example, but like within Ireland, because like obviously you don't have like different states in Ireland. How can you still get that same effect, but staying within your country?
Yeah, you have to look for the, as I said earlier, the biggest the contrast, the better, right? So
Yeah.
in Ireland, we have, for example, north of Ireland, which is actually another country, but you can just cross the border easily. You can drive there. So it's find a way, and countries, because Ireland is a small country, but there are other countries like Spain. The north is very different from the south. So it's like, it's the
Right.
same country, but it's like different culture totally. So even if it's different language, even better. So in Spain, we have three different languages, four different languages official. So you can go to a place with the culture is different, language is different, food is different, people is different. So you have closer. It's never going to be like international travel or, to the, if you go
Right.
to the antipodes, but it's closer within the conditions we have to what would be like a different experience. So the important here is that you break your routine, right? So you break your comfort zone, you break your familiarity, because this routine, actually, what we have every day in our environment, it creates like automatic programs. So we are 95% of the time in autopilot in our lives.
Yeah.
So we need to break this routine, get out of this comfort zone and familiarity. So actually to awake and realize what's going on and learn about ourselves, about others, and about the world.
Yeah, no, that's such a well, let me ask you this. So like what are the behaviors that like have to change while you're traveling? Because like routines you said is a major one. Would you say confidence is one? What is that kind of like behavior change part of traveling that you need to see to really be successful in transforming yourself?
So when you need to seek when you are traveling is self-awareness, right? So if you gain self-awareness or awareness about a situation, right, that
Yeah.
clarity is very, very powerful to make changes. Of course, you need to follow through and take action on that. But if you are not aware, you cannot take action. You cannot change
Right.
anything. So look for self awareness or awareness in general. And this will bring you that is contrast. So not only in destination, also with your behavior. So if you are always quick, running everywhere, always in your mind, try the opposite, right? Slow down, be more in your body, be more present. It's gonna feel weird. It's gonna feel like it's not you, but this is where will bring you the contrast and the awareness and the clarity for the breakthrough or the insights you're looking for.
Oh, I love that. I absolutely love that. It's so powerful because I was going to ask that was actually going to be one of my last questions is when you slow down, do you try to help people highlight, like what is it that you feel like you need to be doing? Maybe that's like more of yourself. Like what is this last question before we start wrapping up? What is that tall tale sign while you're traveling, like that breakthrough, I guess, realization feeling that kind of guides you to realize who you are?
Say again the questions, Kiara.
Oh, what would be that breakthrough feeling? Like
Mhm.
how can you guide yourself and realize that this breakthrough feeling? Like for me, I've realized the things that I really miss while I'm traveling. So like the podcasting, running, things that I'm like earning for. That's more of my personality. How do you describe to people to help them
Mm.
realize this while they're traveling?
Yeah, I suppose the feeling of the breakthrough is something that you will notice. It's not gonna be, you will see. It's
Yeah.
like something that it's like a download that comes to you. It's like, oh my god, right?
Yeah.
Strikes you. So wherever, so that's why it's so important to put the intention, right? To set up the intention before going on a trip. What are you looking for? Then when you are setting this intention, all the focus, all the effort will go in this direction. So when
Right.
you get what you're looking for, or you will know how, or you will, have this clarity or awareness we are talking about, you will know. It will come like, oh my God, it was that. And this
Right.
is something that happens. And for some people, it happens, in the shower, when they go for a walk, when they are so relaxed, right? That comes this super idea or super, now I found the solution, or now I see what I have to do. So it comes like this. So you need to be prepared, do the intention and all the work, the journaling, the awareness, and then take action on it. So the feeling is something that it will catch your attention.
Realize it. I love it. I love it. And I want to ask you one final question, wrapping up the podcast. The question I ask everybody at the end. I'm real huge on routines and habits, and I know that you want to break out of them when you're traveling. But what is a routine or a habit that you do every single day to help yourself mentally and physically be able to run your life, so life doesn't run you?
Yeah. I don't know if it's physically, but mentally, yes. It's meditation. So I actually do meditation every day, and
Love
this
it.
keeps me in this space that sometimes also travel can feel like a meditation, but I do it, from my house as well to complement.
I absolutely meditation, the power of meditation is incredible. Now, Sonia, if people want to contact you about uh, service or getting you as a coach for their travel coaching, how can they contact you? Where do they find you?
Yeah, I think the easiest way is on my website, www.travelawakens.com. And there you can also download the free travel journal I have if somebody is curious about how to plan a transformational trip, or they want to have a life-changing travel
Love it.
experience. You can download these free 7 steps from A to Z, so they can prepare for this having this breakthrough and this transformation. So yeah,
I
travelawakens.com is the place also to contact me if you want.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for coming on today's podcast, and I hope 2022 brings nothing but awesome and more fun trips for you.
Fingers crossed. Thank you, Kiara.